Hey guys, Lee here with the Bink Collections. I am so happy to be giving you this tutorial today. I just wanted to say thank you for all the people who requested this tutorial after seeing my video clip of it, and it took me a long journey to get to this point to be able to do this. Just a little bit of background. I was very inspired by Paloma Bates and with Coupon to Provide, and she was the one to inspire this spinning box first, and then from there it just kind of sparked this addiction that I had for making Lazy Susans. Like, I just felt like, oh, I don't know what it is about creating something and making it spin. It's a little bit of an obsession right now, but I did want to just say that thank you, Paloma, for the inspiration, and keep watching, you guys, and I'm going to show you how to create this spinning organizer that I created. All right, let's get to it. Okay guys, so some of the first things you'll need here, you'll need some twine. I got this twine so that I could decorate around the base of the spinner. You can use any type of decoration you like. When I first did it, I used some burlap from Dollar Tree. You can use burlap. I'm pretty sure you can use some regular fabric, maybe from Walmart, stickers, paper, whatever it is you see fit to use for your decorations. The next thing you're going to need some scissors. You're also going to need a lighter if you do decide to use twine to kind of clean up the edges and the stringy parts. You'll need a razor blade as well as a washi roll in order to trace your circles to make your hot glue border in the base of your spinner. All right, and the next thing you're going to need one of the candles from Dollar Tree. Preferably this type of candle here that has a metal or a tin can top lid that goes with it. We're going to be using that lid in order to be the part that spins over the marbles that you're going to use as well. You want to get this size. So they may have other candles that have lids, but you want to get this size because this size fits inside the base. The next thing you're going to need, like I said, are the marbles. I'm using 7 marbles here. For this particular project, this size, you want to make sure that you get the size of the marbles from Dollar Tree, because they're the ones that they have the right measurements for the tin cans that you're going to be using. The next thing that you're going to need to get, you're going to want to have at least 4 of the flathead marbles. You can get these from Dollar Tree as well. I say flathead because one side is very flat and the other side is rounded. You're going to need these in order to be like a barrier in the side, the bottom of the tin can, to keep the top from coming up. And you'll see when I put it all together. So that's why you need at least 4 of these. They're pretty sturdy and they get the job done. And you can put hot glue on those. The next thing you're going to need are these 2 tin cans, magnetic tin cans from Dollar Tree. One is a small size, they come 2 in a pack, and then the other is a large one, it's sold singular. You want to get both sizes. You're going to use both of these to create the spinner. You also want to keep the magnets on the back of them because they're going to add extra security for all of the things to come together. The next thing you want to get, you can use these auto bucket cups. I believe they're for smoking in the car. I don't know what else they're used for in the car. I don't know. But you want to get at least 4 of these. You can do 5. I used 5 of the pencil holders from Dollar Tree the first time. You'll see in the background right there. And it worked out fine. But I saw these because I wanted a different look. So you can get some of these. I'm using 4 here this time just to see how it does with 4 pieces instead of 5 pieces, and I'll decorate it a little differently as well. So these are the things you'll need, as well as some poster board and foam board. Alright, so here in this first part, I am putting all of my cups on top of my cardboard, my poster board, and I'm going to measure it and make sure I have a circular base. And for that circular base, the first time I made it, I didn't really trace anything that was very circular. I just kind of free-handed it. But this time I decided to use something that had more of a round base so I can cut it out a little bit more neater. Okay guys, so I said that I used something a little more circular, and what I used was this glass plate that I got from Dollar Tree. This is my hot glue gun holder that I believe I got the idea from Life at 50 and Beyond, and it's very similar, and I thought it was really cute and fancy, so I made one to keep my hot glue on while I'm working, and it really works. It's a really good place to kind of keep the glue up there. So if you want to see a tutorial, or if you'd like to see something a little different, please leave a comment below on that. So I have made my circle on my cardboard, and I'm going to use my blade, and I'm going to neatly, as neat as I can, cut it out so that way there's not too many rough edges. Here is the spinner box that I was telling you guys about. I modified the spinner on this as well, as just like the one I'm making now, to be one piece attached to the box, so that way when you lift the box up, it will all be one piece instead of still sitting there. You have to move separate pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out as neat as I can. So we're just gonna fast forward, but you want to make sure you go on the line as much as possible, and it's going to keep it neat, because I didn't do this the first time, and you just want something a little bit more clean cut. So try to take your time on this part, and it'll look a little bit better. Also, the reason why I chose cardboard and foam board for my base is because I wanted something sturdy enough to hold the cups and the items that I put in it, but I wanted something light enough that it was still going to move and spin. So that's why I chose those pieces. I'm pretty sure you may be able to find some other products that might be able to spin, but this is what I chose, and I like working with it. So let's keep going. Okay guys, so now that you have both of your pieces cut out, your cardboard pieces and your foam piece, you're going to glue them together. Be sure to put a lot of hot glue up there so that way it sticks really well. And after you have them all glued together, then you're going to assemble the other magnetic pieces as well. Okay guys, so this part you want to use the smaller magnetic tin can, and you want to put it in the center of your cardboard and foam, as centered as you can get it, and then you're going to trace it. The reason why you're going to trace it is because just for the simple fact you want to be able to remember the place where you're going to glue it, just so you won't, glue it too far to the left or too far to the right. You just want to glue it eyeball it as centered as you can. I don't really like measuring things too much unless I really have to, so I didn't do a whole lot of measurements in this project just because I don't know, I just like the feel to eyeball things is more of a feeling for me. So I don't know, I just think it's a hassle. It's probably not, but I don't know, I just don't like measuring things. So then you want to go ahead and glue around the edges to add some extra security. And after you do that, you want to press down a little bit more, hold it there, and there you have the first part of your spinning piece. After this, we're going to add our candle lid to the base of the magnetic piece, and already it adheres, is magnetic, so it stays up there pretty well, but we're just going to add some extra security. I did not use E6000 here. You can, I probably should have, but it's perfectly fine. If any of these pieces come apart, they're really easy to put back together with a little hot glue or some E6000 and you're good to go. So this is the next part. This part is going to clamp in onto the base part of the other piece that I'm going to show you how to make. So let's keep watching. The next thing you want to do, or at least the next thing I did, is I went ahead and measured out my twine around the circle so I know how much twine to use. If you're using something else, like another piece of fabric like I used on the first spinner over there, the burlap, you don't need to do this obviously, but you do need to do it in a sense to know how much burlap you're going to use or how much fabric you're going to use. So whatever material that you're using, you want to try to measure it out so that way before you cut it, you'll know how much you need. I did end up braiding this because I wanted it to have like a braid effect or be bulkier, and so I measured out as much as I felt I needed, and then I started my braid. I didn't get it, the braid in the screen as well as I should have, but pretty much you're just going to layer them, and then you're going to cut the ends so that way you'll have all stringy pieces instead of looped ends, as you see here. So you're going to cut those ends, you want to pull them tight and then cut them. And once you cut them, you're going to take one end and then you're going to tie a knot, and that's what I did. It's the width that I felt is necessary, so I went ahead and used this instead of adding more, and I went ahead and tied a knot and started my braid. Okay guys, so now that you have your knot tied and your twine, you want to try to adhere it somehow or hold it down. So I just put some hot glue on my cutting board and put it up there so it would hold while I braid it. Eventually, as I got towards the end of the braid, I needed to put something heavier up there because it was coming off of the glue. So I just did that until I finished my braid, and then I went ahead and glued it around the base of my spinner. So here I'm just braiding. If you don't know how to braid, then you can do 2 twists. You can just twist it around in your hand and then glue it that way. So however you see fit to place your twine. Braiding was just easier for me, and it was easier to work with. Alright, now that you have your braid completed of your twine, you want to just go ahead and start wrapping it around your base of your spinner. Now, I would try to put as less glue, but as enough glue as you can, if that makes sense. You don't want to have a whole bunch of glue sticking out on the sides. You don't want it to look too bulky with glue, but you shouldn't be able to see it too much. So you want it to stay down, but you don't want to have a whole lot of glue. So don't press down too hard, just enough so that it adheres to the foam and the cardboard. And we're doing this to cover this part up and to add a little bit of a natural look. So once you go ahead and get all of your twine wrapped around there, you see if you need to add any more, and you'll have to create more braided twine. Okay, now that you have your twine glued around the entire base, I'm just picking off some of the excess glue. I may have put too much glue in certain spots, but don't worry, because you will be covering that up when you go to assemble all of your pieces on the top of the base. I did see that I didn't have enough there, so I'm just going to build another piece to braid another piece of twine to finish that whole section there. And then after that, I decided to do another piece of twine to go a little bit on the top layer, just to give me a little bit more coverage on those pieces that are a little bit left out on the cardboard and foam. So I just braided another piece here. Alright guys, so here's where the lighter is going to come in. Some of the pieces of twine is very stringy, and it comes off very easily, so you just want to kind of burn those hanging pieces off to kind of give it a cleaner look. Alright guys, so here I finally braided the other piece, and I'm finishing up gluing it to the base. Something else I realized is that I could definitely use that base piece as a game spinner. You can turn it sideways and you can use it as like a base for like a game or some type of activity for your classroom or anything. Okay guys, the next stage that I'm doing here is I'm actually creating the spinner piece, the base piece. And here I am taking my washi and I'm tracing a circle inside of the larger magnetic tin can. This is the part that was inspired by Paloma. She put the hot glue inside of the base area so that the marbles would have a place to roll around in a circular motion, so that way they wouldn't roll out of control while it's spinning, just to give it some type of guide. Okay, so you're gonna keep putting your hot glue in there. You want to do it as steady as you can. You don't want too wide of a circle, because when you put the top piece in there, you want the base of the tin can of the candle holder to be able to spin in there nicely. You don't want the hot glue holding it up on the sides from spinning. You want to sit it to the side to dry, and then you're going to be able to move on to the next part, which is putting in your 4 flat-headed marble pieces. Now there is a good guide on how to do this inside the tin can, and I just used the grooves that were inside the tin can as a guide, of a placeholder where to put these pieces, and it worked out fine. You do have to play with it a little bit in order to get it at the right height and everything, but in that groove right there, there's like 4 little grooves inside the tin can, and you're going to place the marble or glue the marble right at the edge of that line. You don't want to put the whole thing right in the middle of the line. You don't want to put it too far below, but you want to put it close enough to that line, and you want to make sure all 4 pieces are there as best you can, so that way the top piece will clamp in nicely. Okay, the next thing you want to do after you have all 4 pieces of your flat-headed marbles glued in to the sides, you want to take one of the marbles and glue it right in the center of the hot glued space. You want to put it right in the center of that second circle that you didn't put any hot glue on, and then you're going to put the rest of the marbles around that circle, that marble, in order for it to be like a spinner. You may have to use your hot glue tip to kind of melt down the edges of that because you want to have a circle where the marbles are going to be able to move. So you might have to make it a little bigger, a little smaller, it just depends. So work with it, play with it a little bit. Right here, I'm just showing you this little container that I found at Dollar Tree because I was obsessed, like I said, trying to find different lids that I could use to make spinners, to make Lazy Susans with, and I wanted to make a little miniature spinner. I don't know what for, but I'm pretty sure I'll find some way to use it. And I decorated with some stickers, and these, I got these from Dollar Tree as well, these tin cans and the little animals, and I spray painted them rose gold a few weeks ago, and I just didn't know what to use them for. And so this would be perfect to go with this little theme. It kind of gives me like a little jungle theme in a sense, almost, with the twine and the little animal pieces, and it just was able to be used as extra storage, so I thought that would be great. So right now I'm still trying to work with my circle here to make sure my marbles are going to be able to spin, and then I'm going to put all these pieces together. Okay guys, so right here I'm just using my little fan, of course, that I got from Dollar Tree to kind of speed up the process of trying to get this circle where it should be so I can put my marbles back in it. The next part that I do after I get this is I go ahead and combine both this piece as well as the top piece, and it clamps right in, and now it hooks in because of those flat-headed marbles on the side like I showed you, and it spins. Now this is my 3rd time making this, and for some reason the flathead marble pieces, I must have put them up too high or too low, so they're not all quite as even as they should be. So like I said, you might have to play with it a little bit, kind of take them off and re-put them back up there, re-glue them, but for the most part it spins. The next part I'm doing is the part that's going to allow this spinner to kind of be stable on the table while you're spinning it and using it. I just put some hot glue at the bottom of it to kind of have like little legs that will stay grounded on the table. So that's what I'm doing here. Sorry about my hand in the way. So I'm going to use my fan again to speed that up a little bit because it was getting a little late at night, and I just was trying to move as fast as I could. Okay guys, so I did say that I had to make some adjustments to it. So I took it apart again, which is really easy to do. You could just pull it up, but it also will stay in as well. You have to pull on it a little bit, but if you needed to modify it or change it or redo something, you definitely could take it apart and redo it. So here I am just putting my marbles back together. I did have to take the sides off and re-put them back up there to kind of give it a better glide while it's spinning. Alright guys, right here there are a couple ways that you can do this spinner based on how fast you want it to spin. I ended up gluing all of the marbles down because the 10 piece tends to glide across it pretty well. If you want a looser spin, you can definitely take the hot glue circle and make it bigger, and then leave the marbles loose and give it a faster spin. For me, I just wanted it to have a slight spin to it because I didn't want my thing spinning too much. So that's why I glued them down. The next part here is I'm just putting all my pieces together, and I'm just seeing how I'm going to arrange them. I went ahead and put my centerpiece up here first, and then I put all the other pieces around it. So I just made sure I put enough glue up there and press down, and the styrofoam adheres pretty well to hot glue. Okay guys, so I have all my pieces up here arranged how I like it, and as you'll see, I use these containers to put like some paper clips in there and some other little pieces of paper that I could use while I'm crafting, and so I just use those as extra storage pieces up here. They're pretty still lightweight, so it's not going to be too heavy. I did have to take up a little bit of one of the pieces, and some of the paper came off of the styrofoam, but I had that extra styrofoam, so I just covered it up with some of the styrofoam piece and it worked out fine. So here I'm just gluing all the pieces together, and I will show you the final product at the end. It does spin in both directions, just to let you know, so no worries about that. Well guys, that is my tutorial. I thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching till the end, please comment below, "Not so lazy Susan." This took quite a bit of time to kind of work out. It's still a work in progress, I believe, but it came out pretty well for what it is. Thank you guys for your support and your interest in this video, and please stay tuned for more. Like always, please don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a comment, please hit like, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos to come. Till next time, you guys, I thank you again for your support. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and peace and blessings. Thank you.